Alright guys, I'm Jaren,
Nohea,
Aaron.
and this is your review on
the Martian shit.
I guarantee you that at some point, everything's gonna go south on you.
Ready?
And you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end.
Commander, Martin's dead.
We have to go now.
Since Nohea here read the book, I would like to know a little bit comparison.
I think I'd probably say this is the best book adaptation I've seen since Gone Girl. The one problem, the movie does do a 7-month time jump that the book never does. And because of that, you do miss out on like a lot of the little mini things that happen in between that I was a little bit disappointed to see that was missed. Like there was Watney's confessionals to the crew responding back to his confessionals. A lot of those were lost in the time trim. I wouldn't say it's a long book, but it's a very wordy book. So there's a lot to take out. I mean, obviously you can't really keep it all in there unless it was like a TV show or something.
So the book kind of dives in a lot deeper within the characters.
It's more about Watney in the book. Like, I think that's what I liked about the movie is that you got a little bit more insight to the other crew members that were trying to rescue him. You don't really get that in the book. Because it shifts from Watney's logs to Vincent Kapoor's character, who's Chiwetel Ejiofor's character. Like, between Watney trying to survive and Vincent trying to get him home. That's the
So those
switch.
two are like the main focus.
Yeah, those two are the main characters.
I did like that everybody, especially like, you have a large cast in here, and then you got to focus like a lot around everyone, not just Matt Damon, but it kind of shed a lot of light and it flowed very well.
I think cutting out the whole thing, like Nohea said, I think that helped the movie, honestly. I think that would have just slowed it down.
Yeah.
Because it was already getting really lengthy. So I think like jumping ahead and just getting to the point already.
They kept like a lot of like the main core stuff in, which was good. But like I said, it's just little character stuff that I really I remember really liking while reading it that I do miss and I kind of wish it was on the screen. Also, the ending is extended from the book, and I was a little iffy about that. I was kind of like, why did you have to add this? I didn't really care for that. I kind of wish it just ended where the book ended. It seemed unnecessary in my opinion. That's why I didn't really like it.
I mean, probably how you guys felt when we did, the visit review. Kind of like that little.
It's exactly how that was.
Moment.
Yeah, it kind of.
I'm sure they're curious like to what happened to him after the fact.
They could have done that during the credits, I think. Like
Yeah.
the added credit stuff. I think that would have been better.
Yeah, like sometimes like they have like the little like captions of everyone's fate. Otherwise, I mean, I wasn't too bothered by it.
Y'all didn't read the book.
Well, I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
It wouldn't have bothered me. But then again, I'm probably just being biased because it's Ridley Scott.
I love Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott is great. I mean, there's a really good team up between Ridley Scott and Drew Goddard. So Ridley Scott's directional, skills and methods, and it was just really, really entertaining. And like to me, I didn't feel that the movie slowed down at all. I mean, like sure, it had like its core character moments, and that was really great. Matt Damon's such a powerhouse, kind of entertainer, as well as everyone that, surrounded him in the movie. So, I mean, fantastic.
It was a great cast.
Yeah.
It was really unexpected he took it to the Christian Bale, the machinist level, and made his body look like that.
That was him? That was actually him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was like, I give him props for that.
I thought that was a body double.
Yeah. I mean, if we kind of looked into it to know that he really went through the the body change.
Well, I have no doubt he did that. I mean,
yeah,
he's
a method actor.
Yeah, he gives his all whenever it's there. But getting buffed back up again for Bourne 5, this is like the most un-Ridley Scott movie I've ever seen.
Like it almost doesn't seem like his trademark.
Yeah,
right?
like the biggest thing that recalls Ridley Scott work is the storm at the very beginning. Like other than that, it's like the direction and the colors and like it doesn't seem like a Ridley Scott movie.
I kind of thought that was, nice for him to expand because it wasn't just something to leave a trademark, but just, a filmmaking achievement that, he was able to stretch on a little bit, you know.
I beg to differ. It kind of did remind me a lot of Prometheus, just like the happy brother of Prometheus.
Yeah.
This is up there with like his top 4 best
Yeah,
movies.
I think this is one of his best movies.
Aside from Alien, Blade Runner, and Gladiator.
Yeah, because especially with this, like compared to like his recent work, I'm not trying to disparage his recent work, but he, you know, focuses that, you know, that whole character drive, you know, and it's very entertaining. It's very, you know, triumphant.
I think the main difference is that this one isn't really... It's grim, but not too grim. Like, I mean, the whole point of the story is about survival and never giving up.
It's nice to know that he's back and critics are praising him for it. You know, because this is where he started off with sci-fi, with Alien.
Now you can either accept that, or you can get to work. This will come as quite a shock to my crewmates, and to NASA, and to the entire world. But I'm still alive. Surprise.
You've even got like some of the Marvel actors in there too. You know, everybody from their different movies, you know, are kind of like in there.
They chopped it up evenly and nicely between him on Mars, NASA, and the whole Chinese space program.
And the crew.
Yeah. Everyone get equal screen time. And it was like nice. I felt happy everyone was so behind him.
Yeah.
Especially the Chinese. The Chinese wanted to help, and then they gave their space shuttle, and you know, and Chitowell was so adamant about getting him home, and Jeff Daniels was on the borderline being an ass, but then yet at the same time he cared.
Yeah.
I like that. And the screenplay was pretty on point. Like there's a lot of comedic tones to it to get away from the disastrous and being stuck on Mars. There's a lot of good screenwriting in the movie. And I like that the movie, like they didn't enter Hollywood, the movie, by having incident after incident after incident on Mars to make it more action-packed.
Like Gravity.
Yeah, like just problem after problem after problem.
Actually, it was kind of a little bit more like that in the book. I mean, it also kind of takes a bit away from some of the comedic points, because some of the humor was with the way he did the video logs, where he'd be like, one log he'd be like, oh, everything is going great, la 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 la. Next log is just like, I fucked up so bad, the fuck am I gonna do? And he's like totally whining, and then he's like, I'm gonna like stop, and then he goes like, okay, I'm gonna think about this. And then he gets back to, you know, whatever the hell he was doing, or, you know, trying to fix the problem. And so, I mean, it felt like, with the book, it felt like a lot of things were going against him. And the movie does do this, but the situation seemed a lot more dire when I was reading the book. Especially with his plants and the hat exploding.
The Mark Watney character, he swear a lot in the book.
He swears like a sailor.
He swears like yeah, because
no, this is PG-13, right?
This is PG-13.
Yeah,
they broke the one F-word rule.
Yeah, so they used the one time, and yeah, he swears a lot more, and especially especially when he's dealing with NASA, he's kind of like just going everywhere.
Well, yeah, they didn't show a lot of his swear words when he was messaging back to them.
They kind of cleaned it up quite nicely. I'm glad we didn't see this in 3D, but for IMAX, I would have been really interested to see, those Mars landscapes, because those shots were magnificent.
Here's the rub. It's going to be 4 years for another mission to reach me. And I'm going to have designed to last 31 days. So I got to make water and grow food on a planet where nothing grows. But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, then none of this matters anyway.
This is a really good movie for like younger audiences, teenagers who I think want to be in the NASA program. I think there's a lot to teach. I mean, there's a lot you can learn. And it shows you how science and math kind of is kind of important sometimes. I mean,
that's why I would also recommend the book, because the book delves into these a lot deeper than the movie does. The movie does its best to try to incorporate these things, to make it a little bit simpler. But the book is like really scientific. It's a hard read sometimes. It gets its point across.
At least he found a good writer that was like true, knows, was true to the story. They didn't change things up.
I know his role was really small, but Donald Glover was really cool.
There was a lot of good people in this cast. Kristen Wiig was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I thought she would make it too comedic and too too funny as how she always is, but she was great.
Kristen Wiig is good with dramatic roles, like Skeleton Twins.
But I was also worried about that with Michael Pena because I was afraid he was going to be over the top, but he's pretty grounded.
Well, that character was also like the jokester of the crew along with Watney. Pretty spot on casting. I could easily imagine Matt Damon playing that character when I was reading the book. Yeah. And I didn't know who the rest of the cast was, but when I looked it up after I was finished reading the book, I was like, this is a really good cast.
I think Sebastian Stan had the smallest part.
He did, and I was a little bit disappointed about that. Majority of the crew didn't really have a lot of stuff to do.
But he's the one that made the bomb.
He is the bomb.
We've got an incoming message.
Mein Gott. Mark Watney's still alive.
In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Ridley Scott, still on my top favorite director. This guy's amazing. Even if he has some disappointments at the box office, he still makes a good movie. It's right up there with Alien, Blade Runner, and Gladiator for me. Sometimes it doesn't look like a Ridley Scott movie, but the astronaut stuff does ring a bell to past Ridley Scott movies. Performance Matt Damon wise is great. Still not as great as Good Will Hunting. I think that's his best performance, but this is pretty good. He really showed a lot of emotion, and a lot of his body language and stuff really came through. It's kind of like Tom Hanks in Castaway for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Castaway on Mars.
Performance wise, it's pretty.
A lot going on in this movie, though.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. Not one bad thing. This is going to be Ridley Scott's comeback. And hopefully Prometheus 2 is going to be just as great. A+ for me.
Tremendous cast, special visual effects were amazing. The story flowed very well for me, very entertaining all the way through from beginning to end. Even when I was trying to pick out some flaws, I couldn't come up with one. You know what? This is right up there, right on my top 10. Just mounted that. Ridley Scott, great director, as Aaron said. And, Drew Goddard really knows how to, handle his Drew Goddard knows how to handle his script very well as adapting with the author and such. And hey, A+.
I love the movie. I agree that this is probably going to make my top 10. Probably make my top 5, to be honest. The cast was amazing. The special effects was on it. The story was awesome. Really one of the best adaptations I've seen in a while. Not since Gone Girl. The only criticism I can have is I just didn't care for that ending. So takes away the A+, give it an A.
Okay, so let's do the math. I have enough food to last for 50 days.
He's going to starve to death long before we can help.
So I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
He's 50 million miles away from home. He's totally alone. What the hell is he thinking right now?
I am the greatest botanist on this planet.
So again, I'm Jaren.
Nohea.
Aaron.
And this was your review on
The Martian.
Woo!
One of the best movies of the year.
I know how to save Mark Watney.
But we need the Hermes crew.
We either have a high chance of killing one or a low chance of killing 6. I'm not risking their lives. It's bigger than one person. No. It's not.
NASA rejected the mission.
So, if we do this?
We're talking mutiny. If anything goes wrong, we die.
Do you realize how crazy this is? We had no other option.
No matter what happens, tell the world, tell my family that I never stop fighting to make it home.
Funny, it's the best book adaptation since Gone Girl. Ben and Matt. Yeah. He just covers his face. Ben and Matt.
I'm a pretty princess. Sorry, folks. Jaren tripped on the
Best
way over to
book
the turn
adaptation.
Wordy book.
Blooper reel.